Debbie Beautiful. As part of our pledge campaign, each week we're focusing on a different aspect of the church, and today is service, as you probably noticed. And one of the great things that our church does is we take 12% of the income that comes in on Sundays and we give it to organizations that aren't our own. Organizations that are sometimes doing work right here in the community, and sometimes community work that's going on globally. And I'm going to invite up John Cefalu today, whose organization, Help to Humanity, we're giving to for 3 months. So this year we decided we wanted to give quarterly ties so we can make a bigger impact. And so please join me in welcoming him so that he can tell us a little bit more about himself and his awesome organization. Thank you, John.
Thanks for having me on this Sunday. First of all, it comes down to this aspect that we sometimes forget, and the greatest resource that this world has to offer is the people on it. And in my 3 short years of committing to charity work and committing to the rest of the world and putting this cause before my own personal gain, I've kind of learned two things that I know for certain. One is that there's a lot of problems and they can only be solved by the people that are going to fix them. And number 2 is that we're a lot stronger when we're together than it is when we're apart. And it comes down to a philosophy that we live by at Help to Humanity. And that's a single word, and it's an African word. It's Ubuntu. And Ubuntu, it means I am because we are. And there was an experiment done by a philosopher to kind of prove this theory, and it talks about why we do what we do and how different cultures work, and he did a study. So he took elementary school kids aged kids from America, and he took elementary school kids from an African tribe. And in America, he lined them up, he put a prize at the end of a 100-meter race, and he said the first one to get to this prize gets it. They get to keep it, it's theirs, they won, and they get to celebrate. So he lines the kids up, blows the whistle, they all frantically run to get to the finish line. First one there gets it, he celebrates, rubs it in his friends' faces that he has it, it's his, and he's happy. And he does the same thing in Africa, and he lines the kids up, he puts a basket of fruit at the bottom of a tree, 100 yards, same scenario. Says first one to get there gets the fruit. He blows the whistle, and he's confused because these kids don't just frantically run. They sit there and think for a second. And after a few more seconds, they lock arms and they walk together to the tree, and they wrap around it, grab the fruit together, and share it. And it's this mindset that allows impact. I mean, if we're able to do this together, if we're able to take on all the world's problems together, they're not as big as they seem anymore. And we are doing this. We're trying to tackle global sanitation. And that's just a very small part of what we do, because once we realize that it all comes down to the development of people and their skills and their mindset, and that letting them know they have as much value as we do, it became very easy to start tackling that global sanitation problem, because they're taking it on themselves. They're not relying on me or Help to Humanity to tackle these problems. They're tackling it on their own, and we're seeing a lot more impact than just illness rates going down. So in the last 2.5 years since we started our first location in Kenya, we've started up 12. We've been blessed by a lot of great people and a lot of great organizations to enable us to do this. And in these 2.5 years in these 12 locations, we've distributed over 35,000 bars of soap now. And we've cut illness rates by 25% in our sponsored locations. And we've seen our partner and entrepreneurs we work with make 3 to 10 times the national average in earnings, and creating revenue to be able to save orphanages on hygiene products. And we're empowering the local supply chain. And if we were to focus on a single aspect, if we were to focus on empowering just the illness, if we were to give soap, if we were to give money to people to have their job, nothing's going to come from it, and they're always going to be looking to us with their hands out, waiting for the next donation. But when we come in and we train people on what it is, we tell them that they can do it themselves. We tell them that this is theirs, and it comes down to their own motivation and their own willingness and their own passion to be able to push it forward. That's when you see the root start to turn into a bunch of byproducts that are much more incredible than anything we could do on our own. And with that in mind, I've been to Africa a lot now. I mean, I've traveled, I've had a lot of experiences, I have a lot of stories, I have a lot of incredible things that I've seen and done. But with each of these experiences, the most incredible moment on each of these trips is always on the last day. And it's never anything that I spend money on, it's never anything, any of the safaris, any of the experiences. It's when we have our graduation celebration, when these entrepreneurs are going forward and know that they have their first job and their first business and they're going out and they're going to be empowering their community. It's that look in their eyes that they know they have purpose now. And they know that they're going to be able to go forward on their own, with their own ability to create their own sustenance because of themselves, and they're going to tackle the problems in their community with the help of everyone around them. And that's everything we stand for, that's everything we want the world to stand for, and that's everything that everyone else should stand for too, is that idea of coming together as opposed to striving for our own individual goals. So we'll be in the back accepting any donations, selling some soap, and answering any questions you may have. And once again, thank you very much for having us, and thank you very much for supporting us with your donations. So thank you.